Okay, so I should be live right now. This is unannounced and relatively unplanned. I knew that I wanted to do a live stream for a little bit recently because I've been trying to do them consistently ish, where I've been wanting to do live streams like once a month or so, and I've fallen off of that a little bit. And right now I'm just waiting for people to show up if they want to sort of show up and listen to me talk. And if not, then that's okay because this is like how I enjoy live streams is almost like the replayability to be able to rewatch a live stream after it's been posted. So it's almost more of a podcast at that point. Um, because that's how I listen to a lot of live streams that are just sort of posted after the fact. If I missed a live stream, I can let it play while I do laundry or while I do dishes or just some other mundane house activity. Oh, Brennan's in the live stream. Hi, Brennan. Brennan is heating up some food in the microwave right now for a little lunch. She just organized her Pokemon binder, which I did mine. I've been doing mine this entire time. I've been trying to really try to know what I have with this Pokemon set, and I've been just having so much fun with it. And Brennan's finally getting hers organized. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this random little live stream. You can't tell by the title. I just wanted to sort of talk about life recently, and not in this I don't know, oh woe is me aspect. Like I actually wanted to just sort of catch up with what I've sort of experienced recently, like in the past few weeks, and that makes it sound like less trivial, I guess, than it actually was, or more trivial. But I just wanted to talk about it, and I think this is like a fun medium to do that. So I have my computer off to the side. I have a new computer, which I'll get to that. So there's some people in here, so I might as well get started. I have my my little cup here, my camera lens cup, which I'm glad that I found this, and it was actually in our friend's car, and I didn't know that. I got this cup, or a cup very similar to this, when myself and Brennan went on our first cruise together ever, when we went on the Carnival Mardi Gras, and I saw this, and I loved it so much, and I bought it, and then I think I left it on the ship, or I lost it, and then Brennan bought me a new one, and then that one disappeared, and it was in our friends Jorge and Kelly's car, and I finally got my cup back. So that was really exciting. Okay, so a podcast talking about bad luck and good luck and karma, and I don't know if it's the planets or if it's Mercury in retrograde or if it's the moon or something, but I don't know. Sometimes a bad luck, and I think everybody can probably relate to this. Bad luck can happen in pairings, and I don't know if that's because you're looking for it, which is probably the case, right? When something bad happens, you're just like, what else can go wrong? It's probably going to rain, isn't it? And then it rains, and you're like, I knew it, and everything happens bad, and you notice it because you're always looking for it because something bad happens, right? And then it takes something good to happen to kind of break that up a little bit, and I wanted to talk about that over here. This is weird. I can hear Brennan listening to this in the other room, and I can hear myself on a little delay, I think, in the kitchen while she's having her lunch. But yeah, I just wanted this to be like a casual, just sort of a conversation. And if anybody wants to weigh in on this, then that's fine. So it pretty much. So we went to the beach, right? We went to the beach to visit my parents with Brennan's parents and Arlo, because my parents recently were able to purchase this condo that they have to rent out. There's a contractual situation with that where they're only able to actually use it themselves for a certain amount of days during the year, depending on the percentage of when the resort is able to rent out that condo. And my parents were incredibly generous, and they let us stay in their condo using part of the time that they have to rent it, because myself, I'm considered an owner because I'm my parents' son. And yeah, so it was able to work out like that, where I was able to rent it as an owner, and then they were able to come with us to stay in that condo. And that is it's the Portofino condo, which is near Pensacola Beach, which and this is always hard whenever I go to Pensacola, because I'm so focused on having a fun family time and being there with my parents or with Brennan or my brothers, that I never know if I really do a good job at just sort of showcasing what Pensacola is, and the various places that are important to me growing up there, But basically we live in Pensacola, and then off of Pensacola, sort of across the Pensacola Bridge, is Gulf Breeze, and then off of a bridge there is the Pensacola Beach Bridge that leads to Pensacola Beach. Part of that is the Gulf Islands National Seashore and Fort Pickens. Tons of like beach houses and beach bars and seafood restaurants. So that was a really cool experience, and we've been trying to do that for a while, to go to the beach, to visit my parents' condo, because they've had this condo for about a year now, maybe a little bit more. And they've always said that we're always welcome to come and stay with everybody, or to just stay there with everybody, whoever we want to come with. And then fortunately, because my parents live in Pensacola, they were just able to make that commute just every day, just to come out to the beach, just to hang out with us and eat and go to the beach. And the month before that, my brothers Travis and Dennis and Christine, his family, they all came down. So they stayed in the beach condo like a month before we went. And it was sort of knowing that we were going to go with Brennan's parents and have that like big family trip there, that made it worth it to not go when they went, because I was considering going when my brothers went to the condo to stay there. But I figured I would just let them sort of have their family time. I think Dennis slept on like the pull-out couch, so it was a little bit cramped at that point. So I knew that, yeah, I did want to go. Obviously, I'd love to go to Pensacola every chance that I can get. But knowing that I was going a month later with Brennan's parents and Brennan and Arlo, which that was fun. Yeah, so hopefully we can go back to the beach. And obviously there was a lot that I did not get to do at the beach, that we did not all get to do at the beach for good reason, for certain circumstances. But yeah, so we're gonna go back, and because I'm an owner, because my parents are owners and everything, we can still go to that resort. We don't have to be actually staying there to go to the resort and sort of enjoy the recreational activities and amenities there. We can go at any time. So if we go back to Pensacola, even if we're staying at my parents' house in Pensacola, we can still go out to Portofino to hopefully do some recreational stuff, because I'm so big on the recreational stuff. I don't know if you know that. Every time we go on a cruise, every time we go somewhere, I have to be doing some sort of activity. I just love doing that. I seek that out, whether it's mini golf or rock climbing or bungee jumping, not bungee jumping, zip lining. Not going to do bungee jumping, not that intense. But I love to do that sort of thing. So to see that they had like an entire water amusement park and jet skis and kayaks at this resort, I was so excited to do it. And I didn't get to do it. And this is also maybe one of those, like, never save the stuff that you want to do until the very end of the trip. And it only worked out like that because I hurt myself. I got injured during the trip. So normally that shouldn't happen. But it's like when you go to a theme park, and it's funny because, like, having worked in a theme park before, there will always be those people that, whether it's like a I don't know, character meet and greet, or whether it's a ride, people always run up right as the park is closed, and they're like, "No, this is the reason why we came here. We wanted to do this all day." And it's like, why did you wait until the park was closed to run over here to, and that's kind of the sad reality of it. If like you want to do something, you got to make sure that you do it before you can do it. And that could be contingent on the weather or just schedules or whatever. But I digress, which is always the point of a live stream. So this was sort of Brennan's birthday month. It was her 30th birthday month, and this was like sort of the bookend of the celebration, because we went on like a personal cruise together, which we wanted to do that with our friends Jorge and Kelly, but it got kind of complicated in terms of whether we were going to do like a weekday versus a weekend cruise. They have kids and everything, and then the price of what we ended up trying to go with just made so we're going to go on another cruise at some point. We have to, with our friends Jorge and Kelly, because this one didn't work, to go on like a friend's cruise, and we were just trying to casually put that together, but we ended up just doing just myself and Brennan cruise, which those are fun too, and getting to do that drink package, which I've already talked about. We've already talked about the drink package in that cruise, but we still need to do a fun friend cruise. That is absolutely on the radar that we have to do. But yeah, that was like the start of Brennan's like birthday celebration, and then just we actually celebrated her actual birthday, and various stuff that we would do just in town to celebrate, and then we went to Pensacola as like the final trip to celebrate her 30th birthday, and getting to getting to go with her parents was just super cool. They've been wanting to go to Pensacola because they make the commute they have family in Louisiana, so they've passed through Pensacola plenty of times, but they've never actually like stayed and explored Pensacola, gone to the beach and done all that. So to have an excuse to do that, they were super excited to do that. And then just to stay in that beach condo with walkable access to the beach and everything that the resort had in terms of like the restaurants and the drinks, and they had the spa, which we got to enjoy. And then the pool and we did the dolphin cruise, and it was just so incredible. But I feel like I've been talking like a mile a minute, but it's been exciting. I haven't been uploading a lot, and the past couple of videos that I've been uploading have been like a combination of multiple days, just because I'm trying to catch up, and I haven't been able to go to the theme parks really, because I've been kind of hurt, and I haven't been wanting to like push it. But I'm pretty back to normal now, I want to think, in terms of just being able to go back out and do some fun stuff. We actually went to Universal last night for Friday the 13th. So that was really fun to go to Halloween Horror Nights. So while I was at the beach, we decided to rent bikes, just, again, as part of the amenities of the resort, as being part owner, which is just me being a descendant of my parents that own the condo. I was able to rent bikes, and that was something I was excited about doing because I love the recreational stuff again, right? And so we rented the bikes from the resort, and there's this like, if you haven't seen that video, so the resort that we stayed at is sort of at the very end of a lot of just developed land on that island, and I think it's an island peninsula. It's just this very long stretch of just beach, with like the Gulf on one side and then the Sound on the other side, and then there's just this concrete little pathway that is specifically for just pedestrian access and bikes, and a little bit sandy, a little bit gravelly, but it was pretty well maintained. I'm not going to blame the pathway, I don't think, at all. It was, yeah. So we were riding bikes and no helmets, no arm or knee pads or anything, because it was supposed to be just a casual bike ride. But then me being myself, I always make these like decisions, and I don't know if this is like a Hornsby thing, because my brother Travis, this is like an infamous situation that he had years ago, and it's actually like a fun story now, being like 15 years past the fact. But one year we always came to Orlando for our family reunion, and this particular year we were at our aunt and uncle's house, and they had a like makeshift zip line in their backyard from like a tree house across the yard, very much so intended for kids because we had younger cousins. And we went up on this treehouse, and my brother and I, to do the zip line, and I was going to go first on the zip line, and I was like trying to assess the situation. Do I like sit down and scoot off of it, because it seemed like a very just kind of casually put together zip line, and then Travis was like, "Are you gonna go?" Something like that, how brothers do. And then I gave it to him to go first, and then he just jumped off of this like platform of this treehouse, and because he was this was in 2010, so he would have been 20 at the time. He just plummeted down and just penciled into the ground. didn't even bend his knees or anything, like just kind of just plummeted into the planet. And then he had to have like a knee surgery. He like had to get his meniscus removed, and it was just one of those like split second recreational, like irrational decisions that I think just might run in our family, because I did the same thing at the beach, and that was like the first thing that I thought about after it happened, was just, why did I do that? Why did I feel the need to do that? And what it is that I did is that I just started to pedal as fast as I possibly could on this pathway, using this like very casual resort beach bicycle that had probably been used for years. Maybe I think they were a little bit rusted, probably just due to the the salt water air and stuff. So they were not meant to do this at all. Just bicycling as fast as possible down this gravelly, sandy pathway, and this is the part, and this is like the part that I still have my doubts about, in that recollection of like the millisecond of what happened, that made me crash this bicycle at the beach, because I was bicycling as fast as I could, and then I feel like I remember something breaking, something making some sort of a sound, where I had this millisecond reaction, and I know that people can relate to this probably, where you have that like recognition of like that moment where you're like, oh my god, something's about to happen, and it's not going to be good. That was the PG version of what you'd actually probably verbally say in the moment, but where you can recognize just like, uh oh. And it turns out that nothing broke, because when after it happened, like my mom, out of curiosity, she went over to the bike rental place, and they still had the bike, because we had to leave the bikes, so they had to go like pick them up, and then they had to bring them back to the resort, because like after like I crashed the bike, um, getting a little bit ahead of myself, but my mom was curious, like, because I did mention, so she was just like, was it the bike or was it you? Like, should we figure that out? And not to put any blame on the resort or anything, but it was just a curiosity that like I had. So she just decided to go by when she was downstairs, and yeah, the bike was fine. They had the bike because they had like the numbers on them, so it was able to be like, so they knew which bike that I was using, I guess. Um, and then I think just for that purpose of just in case, like if it was the bike, they had it like set off to the side. And yeah, the pedals were fine, the chains were fine, the handlebars apparently were fine. So that makes me feel like some sort of like a conspiracy theorist or something, where I'm like, yeah, I feel like something like broke on the bike, and then turns out not. So I think I was just going fast. Maybe it was maybe the chain like popped or something, like just off. I don't know. Maybe it was just my foot slipping off of the brake, and it felt like the pedal broke. I don't know, and I'm not at all trying to be like accusatory or redirect blame from it being myself just being probably just irresponsible, going very, very fast on a bike that was meant for just casual bicycling. Um, but yeah, I was biking very fast, and then all of a sudden, suddenly, I was just down. I just right into the gravel pavement, and I like popped up as quick as I could. That adrenaline and everything, where you're just like, my life. And my arm got really scraped up. I'm pretty well recovered now, with the exception of this. I'm still working on this. But I hit my arm really bad. I had like this huge bloody road rash all over my arm. My knee got it really, really bad too. And that still hurts, just to like, I was like limping for like a week after that. And yeah, like I can touch it right now and it's still like sensitive. But yeah, nothing broken. And that's like the main thing that I'm trying to be like conscientious and thankful for, is that nothing did break from that situation at all. As fast as I was going, as fast and as hard as I hit the ground, that pavement, I feel very, very fortunate that nothing worse happened. But this is what hurt the most, and I don't want to like show it off or anything, because it's still recovering. Like this has taken a very, very long time to recover, and I didn't think that it did. That was like my initial fear, was just like, oh my god, like this is what my arm is now, I guess, and which is silly, because your body can heal itself. It can take a while, and it can, if you don't use your bacitracin or whatever, Neosporin, then it could not look that great and scar over and stuff. But I know this is going to be like a little bit graphic, so I apologize for that. So I'll try to like, I'm not going to be as detailed as I could be with what this looked like. But like when I like hit the ground and I like looked at it, it was just not good. It was like I took a chunk out of my arm, and that alone is probably pretty graphic. So I'm sorry about that. Yeah, but I was just like, oh my god, like this is, how do you even like, what, this isn't a cut where you can just do a quick little stitch, and then it's you're just gonna see like a little faded white scar after a few months, and it'll be just like, oh, that's not that bad. Like I was like, how does this heal? How does your body heal itself when you actually have like a chunk missing out of your arm? Like it looked like a tiny little shark just took like a bite of my arm. And What's weird is that it didn't bleed that bad, as bad as it could have. I think it was just and again, probably being a little bit too graphic at this point, but it could have been a lot worse than it was. And so I feel, again, just very fortunate for that, because we were probably like a mile away from Portofino at this point. We were like very, very, very far away, and we had to walk all the way back to the resort because Brennan's parents were by the pool. My parents were still at home. And just by the time that like everybody got together, we had to meet up at the resort anyway. So I was just like clutching my arm and just like walking down this like pathway all the way. Like I ruined my pants because it's not that it wasn't bleeding. It was absolutely bleeding. Just, it wasn't just like pouring out of my arm to where I needed to tie like a tourniquet or something around it. It was just like, it was just messy. It was just not fun. And just again, applying that pressure. And I considered like taking off my shirt to like wrap it around there, but then I just kind of didn't want to, I don't know, do that with knowing that I was probably going to have to go to the ER, and I don't know, it was like a modesty choice, which was probably irrelevant at the time. But I know I'm like going a little bit more into the story because I didn't want this to be the focus of that video, because I knew that video was just going to be the entire week all put together, and it was supposed to be sort of a montage of the days of the fun stuff that we did as a family with my parents, with Brennan's parents, with Arlo, you know, and I wanted that to be sort of what the video was. Not that I was like trying to hide this, but I didn't need this to be the main focus of what that video ended up being, if that makes sense. Like I don't like that. I'm not gonna title the video, you know, like crazy accident ruins my vacation in all caps, because to be quite honest, I really, really hate when people do that. I hate that people take advantage of a situation for the aspect of like clickbait or to try to get that like that audience retention. Like that really bothers me a lot, to take advantage of like a real life problem and making that into content. That is just inappropriate to me. It's kind of pathetic in my opinion, and I maybe I'm calling people out for doing this, but that's fine, because I do what you want to do, I guess, but I'm not going to do that. And this is not me trying to like, maybe a little bit, I'm not trying to like virtue signal or seem like I'm like doing like, I'm like the you know, I don't know. I don't monetize videos too if they have like that sort of stuff happening in them. If something negative happens, you know, in a video, or that needs to be like addressed or referenced or talked about, I think that that's inappropriate to monetize. And I think that I have that luxury to not monetize it because I don't do this full time. This is not my job, you know? So if I don't monetize a video, you know, or if a video gets copyright stricken, you know, for music or something like that, like, it's not the end of the world at all, you know, because I just don't want to do that, you know? And, yeah, I think about the optics of like, you know, if somebody's like watching the video, what if they get like because I don't do I don't set the ads in videos, you know, so the idea of YouTube just putting an ad wherever they put them, and there being an ad like right before me being just like, I just went to the ER and I had to get stitches, and then there being an ad right after that just, I don't like that, you know, so that's just me sort of on my soapbox just for like a second. Because yeah, I wanted that video to just not focus on that, and it was hard to not do that because that absolutely ruined to an extent a lot of that trip, which was definitely salvaged, and we still had an incredible time, you know, despite that factor messing up our activities that day and stuff that I wanted to do that I did not get to do, whether by myself or with Brennan or with the family, and you know, so it was a bummer. Like, it was a huge bummer, and I'm not going to pretend like it was not a bad thing to happen, you know, at a place that I was so excited to be with the people that I was there with, you know, and I don't know. So I feel fortunate that it was not as big of a problem as it could have been, and maybe even I'm making it more of an issue. Maybe it was relatively trivial, you know, and you know, because I tried to treat it as like it was just like a quick inconvenience where, like, whoops, I fell off my bike, had to go to the ER, took a few hours, got some stitches, got wrapped up, bandaged up, and now we're back having some fun at the beach with the family, and I was definitely not comfortable the entire rest of the trip, like just limping around, not being able to like bend my leg really at all. Couldn't get in the water, couldn't do any of the activities that I wanted to do, but we still got to go have some dinner together. We still got to um, go to the beach and just relax a little bit. We got to go to my parents' house eventually all together because I wanted Brennan's parents and her family and Arlo to just go to our house and have Arlo run around the yard because we have a fenced in yard. And yeah, just to like establish that relationship there at that house, so that in the future, we can all go together and so that was what we were planning to do on that day that the bicycle accident happened. We were supposed to go to my parents' house and play some board games there and then come back to the resort all together and then do the dolphin cruise there. And then the next day was going to be like a day full of activities and fun stuff, which didn't happen. But we still got to do the dolphin cruise. We still got to go to the beach. We still got to go to all of the restaurants that we wanted to go to because we did go to Crabs, we went to Flounders, and then on the way out of Pensacola, we still got to stop by like the parents' house. So the trip was salvaged despite this, and this is the first day I'm actually putting on just a Band-Aid on this. I've had this like wrapped up with like, the like gauze and everything. So this is like the first day I'm having like full like maneuverability of like my arm and everything. And, my knee is now back to normal. I don't have to wrap that up or bandage that up anymore. This arm, it's fine for the most part, just gotta, with scabs and injuries, you just want your skin to just sort of start looking the same shade again, but the fact that I'm like not bleeding and scabbed and everywhere on my body anymore is very nice. Probably talked about this more than I anticipated talking about it, but this is like the full conversation of what happened. And yeah, this is like interesting at all. Whoops, I have been getting comments this whole time. And I didn't even realize that. I'm sorry about that. I've just been like so into just talking about the like experience that I had. So yeah, it was a fun trip, not how I anticipated it going, but at least we got to do it. And then it really, how I should have even started this off before even talking about that is like the hardship that I had before that and the frustration before the bike accident was that for the first time, and I mentioned this in the video, but I didn't talk about it like too much, I lost video footage on my memory card. And that's never happened to me before, and I've known that can be a thing that can happen where memory cards get corrupted or files get corrupted, and it's never happened to me. And, when it never happens to you, you presume that it only happens to other people, and then when it does, it's like wildly inconvenient, and it's a bummer. But then even for that, and I think what I'm trying to do with this is like talk about bad luck stuff, and then the good luck that has like been even retrospectively like appreciated, I think, like with my injury, that I didn't break anything. I could have absolutely broken my elbow or my knee. My wrist was a little bit sprained, just like how hard I hit the ground. And then Brennan, I'm sure, can attest to it because she was biking right behind me. It was not pretty. I did not hit the ground that gracefully, unfortunately. And I don't know how you would try to hit the ground gracefully. The fact that my camera didn't get broken, because that's like an optics thing that somebody could say where it's like, oh, you were vlogging and of course you crashed your bike. It's like, yeah, of course I was vlogging, but not in that moment. The last thing that I filmed was the last thing that I filmed, and then I put my camera in my pocket, and my phone was in my pocket, and and I was just biking really fast, and then I fell, and my watch completely shattered and is broken completely. But the fact that my camera in my pocket and my phone in my other pocket were totally fine, that is very fortunate, considering those were the much more expensive alternatives than just my Apple Watch, which was getting kind of old anyway. But yeah, so like I didn't break any of my stuff, or more importantly, my arm or my knee, or I didn't hit my head, which is crazy because that was what they kept asking that over and over again. Obviously, like, did you hit your head? Whether it was the paramedics or whether it was the ER technicians, nurses, and no, and maybe I did and I don't remember it, but I didn't. I think you'd know if you hit your head on the concrete going that fast, but somehow I did not hit my head and I hit everything else instead. So it's sort of cool that the body can kind of prioritize that. Even in that moment, I think your brain is just doing geometry calculations to like know how to avoid hitting your head on the ground, which is neat. But if I'd hit my head, that would have been really, really bad. Would have gotten a concussion or worse, you know? So very, very fortunate for that. I just hit my arm and scraped it up really bad, and it's almost healed now. It still doesn't look fantastic, but how it's been able to build itself back up, and so I'm gonna be fine, And and I got 6 stitches, and I just got them out a few days ago, and and then I took like this antibiotic just for potential, didn't want to get this infected or anything like that. So I'm done with that now. So everything's like back to normal. So now I'm just wearing a Band-Aid until I'm all good to go again. And from how hard I hit the ground there and how ugly everything looked, just bleeding everywhere, and how painful everything was in every joint, because after the adrenaline wears off, you know how that works. You really start to feel everything, the pain and the aching, and then the bruising, and then the muscle, contraction, like trauma. I don't know. So I'm doing much better now, and it's officially today. No, yesterday. It's been 2 weeks now, so I'm recovering a lot faster than I anticipated with this. I came back to the bike accident again, but talking about the beginning of the trip there, how I lost my footage. That could have happened for so many different things, and it never did. And I feel very thankful for that. The only video I've lost in my recent memory, having only been just like a quick little travel day from Orlando to Pensacola, where I didn't record a lot. Like it was just us in the car and just Arlo in his little dog bed there next to us, and then just get into the resort, doing like a little quick tour around the room and around the resort itself. Video that I ended up just doing again anyway because I could. I just refilmed another room tour walkthrough, and then I refilmed another, this is what the resort looks like, So just as far as the salvage ability of that situation, that was very, very fortunate, because like, what if I had gone to Central America with my brother and lost all that footage? What if I had gone to Disneyland with Brennan and lost all of that footage? Or we'd done something really exciting and I hadn't been able to salvage it? And I still don't know what happened, because I still used that memory card throughout the rest of the trip. It was a 4K memory card that I was using, and just my older Canon camera. I don't know if it has anything to do with it, just the right speed of that somehow getting corrupted. But I tried to take that footage and put it into my computer, because the night that we got there, that's when I was trying to decide, do I make this one like long video, or should I make them all like quick little daily videos or something? Like, how do I do this? Because I try to think about that stuff a lot, where like I don't want to just have 4 8-minute long, 10-minute long videos when I could just have it as one big fun experience, just start to finish. And then just trying to like put it in my computer. I tried to put it into my Premiere Pro software, and then it just started like glitching, and then suddenly I took out the memory card and then put it in my camera, and then it was gone. And then I put it back into my computer, and then there was nothing on the card. So it was like, what just happened? So then I downloaded this, I think it's Disc Drill, right? This footage salvaging software for deleted video on memory cards specifically. So I had to like pay to utilize this software, and then I could see that these clips existed on the memory card, but they were not salvageable. They were not able to be recovered. And it was a bummer. And like I tried, and just it was just, and by that point I had refilmed everything that I did, filmed the previous night. It was weird to just start a video at a place when I think it's fun to like showcase the anticipation of the start of it, of traveling, of getting there, of getting comfortable, of giving like the tour of the room before it's been stayed in, before the beds have been slept in and the table's been used and the kitchen's been cooked in and stuff. So to lose that was a bummer, but it could have been so much worse. And so I feel fortunate with that. But that was like the lead into the biking accident, where it was just like, of course. And then at the very end of that trip, my laptop started to not work. And I've been having like a little bit of an issue. I had been having a little bit of an issue with that laptop, with my like the USB-C ports on that computer. Like one of them was just kind of being weird, or if I like plugged in like an adapter to be able to plug in other stuff into that laptop, it wasn't really working. And so it wasn't like one of the USB-Cs just wasn't charging at all. It wasn't like receiving any sort of information about anything any adapter that I put in there. And so that was kind of scary because after my footage got deleted on the first day, every day I would take the video from that day and I'd put it on my external hard drive that I brought with me through the computer. So I'd be like, okay, at least I have this day. I can prove that we went on this trip. And then I couldn't do that like the last night. And then I got back home and then it just started getting like worse and worse. And then I couldn't even charge the computer. I couldn't use that port at all. So then I was like, okay, I'm going to go to the Apple store and figure this out and see if there's just something that they can do to help me out with this. And then they ran all their diagnostic tests and it was the logic board of the computer. Apparently that is just not good anymore. And yeah, it would have been $500 to replace the logic board, which would have I think replaced the like the USB-C ports, maybe the battery as well. So it would have been like a helpful investment, I guess, into that computer. But that was already like a 5-year-old computer too at that point. So sort of the option that I had, and I don't know if anybody can weigh in on these sort of decisions too. But either I spend $500 to repair an older computer, or I put the $500 that I would spend on that repair, and then the $300-ish plus dollars that I got on the trade-in, and then put that towards a completely new machine, a completely new MacBook Pro. And you're not saving money by not doing that because, you're spending $1,800 when you could have just spent $500, or $2,000, whatever it would have been for like a brand new laptop. But I think it was time, and especially doing what I do, consistently using this computer every single day to edit, to work on Photoshop or whatever it is that I do. I use this computer so much. It was time to invest in a new laptop. So I think that's like the silver lining of that, where my laptop decided to finally die on me, even though it was still a good laptop. I liked it a lot. But yeah, I was able to trade it in, get a pretty good trade in for it, I guess, and then just put that towards a new laptop. So now I have a brand new laptop with a lot more ports in it that I'm excited to use. And it is very fast with the editing, rendering speed. So that's cool. So I have a new laptop. Didn't really need to spend the money on it at this point, especially after an ER visit and a cruise recently and like just finances in general, right? But I don't know. I think that's a reasonable like positivity to take away with like needing a new computer. And then I was also able to back it up because the ports had been working sometime, but not all the time. And it was just kind of like if I like plug it in and unplug it, plug it in and unplug it over and over again, at some point it'll like register that something's connected. So I was able to plug in my the external hard drive that I use for backups for the MacBook, and I was able to do a backup on the computer. So that was very, very lucky that I was able to do that and get the full backup of that computer before it just completely went, kaput. And then while it was still functioning enough to get a good trade-in value on it, it was like a very convenient intersection of positive experiences, I think, with what that situation could have been. Because if that computer had gone completely down, I would have lost probably a lot of stuff that I haven't backed up as reasonably as I should have. I back up all my like vlogs that I do, but as far as like pictures and stuff, like I take most of those on my phone. Yeah, but there's always stuff on the computer that you don't know, and if you lose it, it would just suck. So I'm glad that I did the backup, that I was able to do the backup, and then trade it in for a good trade-in value. So there's that. Yeah. So those are sort of like the bad luck experiences, sort of centered around like the trip to Pensacola, And I don't want to put any sort of a shroud, a cloud around that experience, because it was very fun. We all had a good time. Seeing my parents and Brennan's parents interact, it meant a lot. For Arlo to be like the best little boy in the car, driving to and from uh, Pensacola. Like I could not have imagined how good he was in the car, and how quiet and content and pleasant, and then like taking him on little walks around the resort, actually taking him on the beach over to the water through the sand there. Even though got a couple little sand spurs on his paws, it was cute and saved us some money, than having to board him again at the Best Friends Pet Care Center. Even though we did that again for our cruise at the beginning of the month, because I do get a discount there as a cast member. But just we're trying to use that place more because it's convenient, because they're really, really good, and because it seems like Arlo has like a little reputation there, so that's kind of neat. So he has a little account, and he's known as a dog patron of that It's a pet hotel, I guess. Okay. So now leading into the stuff that happened since getting home, and I've just been really trying to I say trying to take it easy, but I wanted to assemble all the furniture that we got recently. It was a pretty good opportunity for me to do that, because like having stitches, doing what I do at work, I didn't want to do that. Didn't want to take any chances with that just healing. Same with like my knee and everything. So I took a couple extra days off there, just calling out pretty much just for like my own physical sake, and then just doing. I did a whole video on it if you want to watch it, but moving all the furniture out of the spare room and then from the main room into the spare room, and then constructing the furniture that we have in there. And even since that video, I've ordered a couple extra things to go into that room to better match the set that we have in there. And again, try to be very financially conscientious about that. But we got to do like a table too, and some new like hampers to go with the side tables and the dresser and the bed frame in there. So that's really exciting. But one day after I got home from shopping, so I like Pepsi, Nitro Pepsis. They're very smooth to me. I enjoy them a lot. And I got like a 4-pack of them, and I guess they're just like very, very pressurized or whatever. But I was coming inside the front door, and would normally be coming through the garage, but I came through the front door, and Arlo gets really excited whenever somebody comes into the front door. So I was like, I was dealing with Arlo when I was holding all this stuff, and then somehow I just dropped my 4-pack of Pepsi from like 2 feet in the air. But I guess that was enough to make this entire 4-pack explode everywhere, literally everywhere. The ceiling, the walls, the picture frames, the lamp, the rug. Didn't ruin, but it covered everything in Pepsi. And this is the perpetrator right here that I've been even holding on to, because I figured I'd show this off at some point. Just the entire lid of this blew off. Out of the 4 Pepsis that were in there, 3 of them exploded, and this one being just like the main perpetrator there, being completely empty. And it showered Arlo. It showered our pictures here, the lamp again, all of the picture frames we have on the wall, the dresser, not the dresser, the like little like bookshelf cabinet thing. We have all of Arlo's toys, the rug, the door, everything. And I also had all the furniture that I deconstructed from the spare room in here against the wall. And that sucked. That sometimes things happen, and you just like, you recognize immediately how much of an inconvenience that is about to be for your day. Like you see how big of a mess something made, and you just internally go like, okay, well, I'm not doing anything at all now the rest of the day, because how bad that was. Like I knew that would just take hours to clean up, and I'm still cleaning up. There's still stuff on the walls. I had to get up on like a chair to like clean off the. It was terrible. Like that was like, uh-oh. that ruined my afternoon, because this wasn't just like dropping like a slice of pizza on the ground. This like erupted, and I'm so, I don't know. I was so mad because I also like Pepsi. So for them to be all ruined and stuff, like it was, yeah, nitrogen molecules are much more compressed than carbon. Apparently, so don't drop your Pepsi Nitros because it will just explode everywhere, everywhere, and it'll just, I was able to clean everything up, but it was just, it's that like having to individually clean up like everything on the shelf, all the toys, all the, I had to take everything. I had to hose down the shelf there. I had to take the lamp outside. I even had to spray down the lamp. God, it just took forever. Like, good Lord, and none of this was even Friday the 13th. So that happened, right? And let's see, was there anything else? I feel like there was something else that was kind of like lame that happened, but there was something that was really nice that happened, and this is where I kind of wanted to like move towards in terms of just like talking about it, because this like started to turn things around. This was like the turning point, and knowing that things are going to be okay. And sometimes when bad things happen, good things can happen. And I went back to IKEA yesterday because the bed slats for the king size bed, they weren't like aligning, and I didn't know if those were the bed slats or if it was the bed itself. And so I wanted to see if I could exchange them for new bed slats, which I did. So that was really nice. But on the way back, because we don't have Krispy Kreme where we are over here where we live, it's kind of only over by like the Millennia area. I went into Krispy Kreme because I wanted to bring back some donuts, and I was standing in line there, and the guy in front of me, this was yesterday, he was getting a dozen donuts, and then he looked over at me and he was just like, "What are you getting?" I was just like, "Oh, I was just gonna get some original glazed donuts or something like that." Forget like the full conversation there, but it was just like he was like, "I got you," and I was like, "What?" And I guess there was like a deal, like a Friday the 13th deal with Krispy Kreme, where if you buy a dozen, you get a dozen glazed for 13 cents for Friday the 13th. And he just bought me. He gave me his deal. He gave me a free dozen glazed donuts just by using the app, which he technically paid for because they were 13 cents. So he paid more for his dozen assorted, presumably, donuts so that I could have my dozen for free. And it was like, wow. Like you so randomly encounter like just like genuine human kindness. I think everybody's just so jaded now where we're all sort of like afraid of each other. Nobody answers the door anymore when somebody comes to their door. Nobody answers phone calls that it's not, somebody that they recognize or whatever. If there's solicitors on the street or at gas stations, we're nervous to interact with them, and that's something that I wish I could take from my dad. My dad is the most personable man I've ever known in my life. He will start a conversation with anyone ever, and it's so cool and almost frustrating sometimes because he literally will talk to anyone ever. But just like that, conversation like ability and just genuine kindness towards other people and just, just talking, it's like a cool thing. And like just to have that happen, just like that interaction, it was really cool. It was just like, I told him that he made my day, because it's such a silly little gesture, and it's not like paying it forward or whatever at like Starbucks or anything. I don't think, where you're almost kind of like socially pushed into making that decision, where it's just like a place of genuine kindness. This happened recently, and I think it's in some video somewhere, but my family went to I think it was a Waffle House, and we had like gotten a table, I think, and there was like a family that came in with like younger kids, and then my mom like offered for us to like move over to like the bar at Waffle House to use like the bar seats and let the family with the kids have like the booth, I think, because my mom was like, "Oh, we've been there, like we know what that's like. Please take this table. Like we'll sit over here, no worries." And we didn't know about it, but that family paid for our meal at Waffle House, and it was Waffle House, so it wasn't the most expensive meal in the world. But just like that generosity, just like paying it forward like that, that's just like it's like really special. And sometimes like that's all you need to like make it through like a really bad day or a bad week, a bad month, just something good happening for just the sake of somebody wanting to be nice, just for the sake of someone making that decision to do something good, you know, like that can really disrupt the attitude of what karma is or what bad luck is, because someone made that choice to be good and to be nice. And that like broke my mom when that happened at Waffle House. She started crying, because she was just like, that family is with the young kids, like they're probably like saving money. They're probably like, just making ends meet, and for them to spend money on, it was like a super duper heartfelt like moment for my mom, for like our family and everything. And I know that everybody has those situations where somebody just did something nice for you and it just like it lingered and you don't forget those experiences, and I don't know, like it was really nice. Um, so that's sort of just like the point of the live stream here is I just wanted to talk about that, about like, because I haven't been uploading a lot, and it's not that I haven't been wanting to. I've been wanting to catch up, sort of physically and emotionally, with myself after the past like couple weeks, and then also catch up around the house because that's important too, just like the personal life stuff, trying to construct furniture and move stuff around and just have a livable, enjoyable home, and it takes a while and everything, all this stuff behind me, like it takes a minute to organize and um so that was pleasant, and we're still not done yet. We still have stuff that we need to do, like in the bedroom and the living room and the spare room in here and the kitchen. I still need to that's what it was. I still need to decorate for Halloween. And like I don't know if it was the same day or if it was the next day, but it was just like right behind the whole Pepsi thing. So we have string lights in the living room in here, and I was on a ladder and I was putting in all of the Halloween lights because I said that I'd wanted to do that in the previous like vlog that I did around the house where I wanted to decorate for Halloween, but that just seemed like it was going to be too big of a project. I wanted to focus on the furniture, but I started to decorate for Halloween, and I replaced all of our bulbs in there, or I did for Christmas with like red and green bulbs, and for Halloween I wanted to put like green and purple in there, and I was debating like green, purple, orange, but I decided then green and purple, and it's hard to do that because it is very high up there. I have to get the ladder out and everything, and replacing them alternatively all throughout the entire strand. I got to the very end of the strand, which was over here behind this wall, behind me, behind the camera, and that's where I had all of the spare bed, the spare room furniture. And I got to the very end of the strand, and I was like putting in one of the bulbs, and then I let it kind of like drop a little aggressively because it was behind like the bed frame, and it hit the ground, it hit the tile, and it sparked, and then the entire strand went out. And I didn't know that could happen on individual like replaced bulbs on a strand like that. I don't know if it like power surged the but it broke the entire strand of lights, and that really sucked. Like because I had made it all the way to the end, and this was like right after the whole Pepsi thing, and it was just like, oh my god, can this stuff not happen, please? That's so stupidly inconvenient. And I unplugged it. I plugged in like my phone charger into the outlet just to make sure it wasn't the outlet that was malfunctioning, and nope, my phone charged perfectly fine with the outlet. It was just the actual the strand of lights that just broke. So I bought a new one, so that should be here at some point, so I can hopefully finally decorate for Halloween. Yeah. So that was sort of unfortunate. Yeah, again, like the stuff that just happens, it's like annoying and trivial. Some things are like obviously not trivial, but then when like the little things that happen that are annoying, and it's something like spilling Pepsi everywhere or spending hours putting up an entire new, not hours, spending a while putting new bulbs into a strand of lights and then having it break and completely, like, because now I have to take it all down. I have to put the new one up. It's going to take a while. And it's like, sometimes just like the little conveniences that take too long are just frustrating. Well, I think that was my live stream complaining about everything. I've been talking for about an hour about my life. Focus. Oh, that's why I'm like dressed in the Krispy Kreme stuff. By the way, is because of that story. I brought the box too, which is like in the thumbnail. Because I don't know, Krispy Kreme, right? I do like Krispy Kreme a lot. Their donuts are delicious, and I had downloaded the app myself to use something at Krispy Kreme, but I'd never downloaded it. And then I was seeing like a deal that was like, oh, get a free donut for downloading the app. So I was going to redeem that, but then they just started handing out free donuts anyway. So then I was like, well, then never mind. I'll just get my donuts and just have that. But I didn't know that there was like a Friday the 13th deal. And then we went to Halloween Horror Nights last night on Friday the 13th. And I made a video about that, but I don't think I referenced at all the fact that it was Friday the 13th. And I didn't think that anything happened at all, but we did try to see the show last night, the Nightmare Fuel show at Halloween Horror Nights, and it was canceled while we were waiting for it. So I guess that's kind of bad luck. But yeah, I think that that's pretty much it. I just sort of wanted to just hop on the live stream and just sort of like catch up and talk. And this is like a cool platform to be able to sort of go back through everything and just kind of talk about it, give my thoughts about it so that it doesn't just like congest or overwhelm a video that should be more focused on like the fun and the positivity of, because I don't want to taint that. It's about being with family and friends, or family and Brennan and her family and just having fun together and yeah, just having a good time. So I think I might go in the live stream here. I haven't really answered any of the comments here. I apologize for that. But I just sort of wanted to just talk through the past couple weeks. It's also kind of cathartic to just like vent about it, because like when crappy stuff happens, sometimes it's nice to just say like, this happened, doesn't that suck? And then you feel like it's like less of a big deal and it is kind of trivial and you can kind of laugh about it. Okay. So I'm gonna look back through these comments probably a little bit later, but for the most part, I appreciate everybody's emotional condolences about the bike accident, and yeah, I'm doing fine. Never had stitches before, other than I might have had them in my mouth for like wisdom teeth surgery or something, but I like actual legitimate real stitches that I was there when they were doing it, that was the first. Still have not broken a bone, so I'm hoping to continue that. Because I also know that as I get older, this stuff is going to get more complicated with, injuries and the healing time and process. So, thank you everybody, just for being with me and just letting me vent about this stuff and talk about it. Drinking my coffee out of my little cup here. Feeling much better. I'm glad that I'm recovering. I'm glad that stuff is getting done around the house. And we're getting close to Halloween and then Christmas. And then maybe I've mentioned this, I don't know, but like later in November, my parents are coming down here. So we're going to have some fun with my parents and I think Dennis too. Which, speaking of Dennis, many people have like told me that they've noticed this. But Dennis is in a movie, like an actual movie on Amazon Prime called The Burial, and he plays a speaking part in that. So that's Dennis doing his acting stuff. That's why he's in Atlanta, as he's been doing acting things, and stuff that he's done a while ago is now finally being edited and released and everything. So it's cool that Dennis is, he's getting some recognition because he's a talented, cool guy. I did want to end this really quickly with a giveaway, because there's something that I've been wanting to give away for a while, whether it's through here, whether it's like Goodwill or something, and I'm cool doing it here. This has nothing to do with anything that I've talked about today, but we've had this framed Minion like schematic blueprint for a while. This was over there, sort of like in our like game room area by the bar, and we replaced this recently with some like relevant pictures of ourselves like at Universal. Am thought about donating this. If you don't, this is just like, I think this is in the queue at Universal. For Despicable Me, Minion Mayhem. I think it is actually like there in the outdoor queue on the wall. And yeah, and this is just like a fun framed. It's like, it's not a poster or anything. It's like actually hard and stuff. So yeah, if anybody wants this, like, just let me know. I mean, if you want to just send me like a Instagram message or something, or Twitter direct message, whatever. If you want it, just let me know. That's the simplicity of this one. I'm not trying to, make you do anything crazy or special, or leave a comment, like and subscribe, and hit the notification bell. None of that. So just, let me know if you want it, and I will send it in the mail. Either, maybe not today because it's Saturday and not tomorrow, but I will send this to anybody that wants it. And the sooner you do it, the better. The first person probably that says, hey, I want it, here's my address. And also, you gotta live in the U.S. because this might be kind of awkward to send elsewhere. So, yes, sorry, gotta limit that to the United States. I apologize, everybody. If you want it, let me know. Send me a message, and I'll send it to you. So I think that's it. I think we're all good to go now in terms of what I wanted to talk about in this video. But every time I do a live stream, I always like in the live stream, and then I walk into the living room or wherever, and then I'm like, I should have mentioned this, and then I didn't. But that can happen sometimes. But the moral of this video is just that bad things can happen, but sometimes good things can happen afterwards, or they're not as bad as they could have been, and you need to be appreciative and thankful for that. And then there's always a silver lining where when bad things happen, at some point, good things will happen, and it'll make you appreciate the good stuff even more, because that is just the fluctuation of life, is that bad stuff happens, and it makes you enjoy the good stuff even more because you've experienced the bad things, right? So that's it. I'm going to go in the live stream now. Been talking for an hour about myself and my various traumatic experiences and inconveniences, however trivial. But thank you for watching. Krispy Kreme, I appreciate you very much. I appreciate your donuts. They're delicious. So thank you, everybody, for watching, and I'll see you soon, and goodbye.